Check it out.
And we aren't interested in whether or not the accusations against Vice President Biden are accurate or not. We're responsible for making sure the FBI does its job, and that's what we want to know. This is just one more example of them not being forthcoming to the public, because the public's business ought to be public, and there's no reason for an unclassified document to be held in secret.
That was Republican Senator Chuck Grassley out of Iowa last hour with Dana and me, addressing the FBI's refusal to hand over documents that are critical to the House Republican investigation into the business dealings of President Biden and his family. The agency yesterday making those documents available, they say, but with major conditions. David Spunt's got the conditions. Let's start there, live from the Justice Department. But before we go there, Jonathan Turley pops out of nowhere. Turley. Right on. Professor, how you doing? Good morning. Don't know if you saw Chuck Grassley last hour, but he would not characterize the content of the document that he has personally seen. What do you make of this?
I thought it was an incredible interview. Senator Grassley now is quite right that the point about this investigation is not necessarily proving the merits of bribery. It's an investigation into the corruption, yes, of influence peddling, but also whether the FBI itself has been corrupted by political influence. That secondary issue is one of the reasons I think the FBI is on a rather bad legal footing here. They've already said they'll show this unclassified document to members of Congress, but these added conditions become less and less persuasive. Everyone agrees that you can redact material from this, particularly the names of the whistleblower, for example, or critical figures. But you can't go too far without interfering with the oversight responsibilities of these committees. So I think that Wray understands that, but there's still a lot of resistance of the FBI of being, forthcoming on this information.
Jamie Raskin, who is the ranking Democrat on the House side of things, next to Comer, he said that basically this is all politics, saying it is increasingly clear that the committee Republicans have always planned to hold Director Wray in contempt of Congress to distract from the obvious fact that they do not have evidence to support their unfounded accusations against President Biden. Now, that's their line. They are sticking to it. But it does seem that this document could see the light of day. And then what are they going to say?
Well, it is humorous because you have members like Raskin constantly saying, where's the evidence, while they're voting against any effort to acquire evidence. They're opposing an investigation into the censorship program. They're opposing investigations into FBI whistleblowers. They're opposing investigations into IRS whistleblowers. All of that is meant to get this evidence so that it can be evaluated. So it's rather ironic to hear Democrats complaining about the lack of evidence when they're trying to stop the accumulation of evidence.
Well,
but the fact is the public supports these investigations.
Yeah, I apologize for interruption. What I heard from Grassley, he would not tell us whether he thought there was something illegal on the document. I mean, a lot of Republicans are already on that bandwagon. He is not. Call for number one. We'll go back to the interview. He wants the FBI to do its job. That's what he said. Watch.
Put it this way, there's accusations in it, but it's not for me to make a judgment about whether these accusations are accurate or not. It's up to my job to make sure the FBI is doing their job, and that's what this is all about as far as I'm concerned. Public's business ought to be public.
So here's how I see it then. They're allowed in, they read the document, maybe it brings other colleagues in, they see the document, but if the FBI doesn't make a move, this allegation is dead in the water.
Well, first of all, I commend the senator for showing this circumspection. This is why he was respected so widely as a chairman of the committee. This may not be true. There's a lot of information that comes to the FBI from anonymous sources and other sources. But the FBI itself is part of this congressional oversight investigation. Now, they may, in fact, be able to put together material from this document with other parts of their investigation. The House Oversight Committee just released a damning report showing millions of dollars going to Biden family members using this labyrinth of corporations and accounts that are so complex they seem only designed to hide this trail. And there are growing concerns in the public, concerns about the FBI's independence and integrity, but also concerns about corruption. Even if this is not a crime, influence peddling is corrupt. It's the favorite form of corruption in Washington. All of that is subject to congressional oversight. So the FBI needs to be very careful. If they prove to be a choke point, keeping these committees from fully investigating these issues, they'll find themselves in court.
Spokesman John Kirby at the White House yesterday got a question about this. The reaction was interesting. Watch.
There was a Harvard-Harris poll this month that found that 53% of the public, including a fourth of Democrats, believe, quote, Joe Biden was involved with his son in an illegal influence peddling scheme. So what do you say to the majority of Americans who believe that the president is himself corrupt?
Wow. Can I take that question?
The president has spoken to this. The president has spoken to this, and there's nothing to these claims.
I mean, that's what the president has given them to say. They do have a spokesperson in the White House counsel's office, Ian Sams, super capable guy, that they could have floated that to. But I do think that they're trying to basically get through all of this, saying there's nothing to see here. And yet we have these investigations ongoing and a document that's sitting out there, and the FBI might be held in contempt over it.
Right. The problem is, he's right. The president has spoken to this. And what the president has said seems to be manifestly false. The president has said that he had no knowledge of his son's business dealings, and yet we have learned from the laptop there's photos with these business associates, there's meetings in the White House. You have one whistleblower who said that he met personally with now President Biden to discuss these deals. There's even references to President Biden getting up to 10% of one deal and getting other benefits. So the problem is that what the president has said stands contradicted. And this idea that, oh my gosh, how could you suggest the president is corrupt, is getting to the point of being insulting. I mean, there are millions of dollars that are going to Biden family members, including grandchildren, from foreign interests, including some associated with foreign intelligence. At some point, you insult the intelligence of the American people with these types of dismissive comments.
Professor, thank you. We'll wait to hear when others get a chance to see that document at FBI headquarters. And we'll bring you back. All right?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Jonathan Turley.
Thanks.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.